The only thing that bugs me is that I should have put an S, M-I-N-S, because I got this thing I'm using up every last character in the video title. So I don't know what CHOMO is. I lit it. All hell breaks loose for 15 minutes on my screen. I can see what he's trying to do, and he can't. He fucked it up because he's not a hacker. Stupid.
And the ground into your face that's a makeover.
And this is what the solar winds hack and some other coming through YouTube and all this other dumb shit, but nobody listens. So nobody listens about the virus. Nobody listens about nothing. So.
Yes, nigga. Learn take we slim. We out here. Don't get close, nigga. We the critics, shooters behind me. FOGs the wide, the 70s and 90s. So don't sleep, no, nigga. We are what? Won't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. We the critics got the shooters behind me. FOGs the wide, the 70s and 90s. So don't sleep, nigga. We are what? Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. On the same stage, running with the same clip. Never gonna change, no, nigga. Only change hoes and the pool, but only if it's fucking up. Put some aim and niggas above the button. I'm hard in the paint, no catch a fucking no. Repack and flip that to get our shit up. Rack it up. The other option is a stick up. Never a 9 to 5, cause I ain't got no day job. From the slums, little homie, when we play hard. If you don't wanna see the 30-30 when it sprays hard. 22 to walk around 3/8 for the beat. The 40 to lick them down, the max for the EC. Heard niggas saying, but they wanna make tracks with us. Before that, didn't even crack to us. Going hard in the booth, it's a takeover. Hard in the ground into your face, that's a makeover. 25 for a Q, the rest profit. Hustlers, when I say won't sleep till I knock it. And don't push me, cause I ain't in the top yet. 12-year-old school, so I ain't scared if you got it. Y'all got it. Is it me you comparing to? I ain't finished my fair share yet, but I aired them just started. And I ain't talking about no jump shot, brush them off, go top. You know the cold hard tracks, didn't think I was capable. 4-5 pipe on 100 traceable. Didn't think I was capable. 4-5 pipe on 100 isn't traceable.
You niggas don't ride something like a flat tire. Get a fire at your back, you will backfire. Cause I got the same size as a blow dryer. Never true in your raps, just some damn liars. A great job, make them spit through the wire. And you don't supply shit to a buyer. I'm the king of gang rap, call me sire. That's hate, but privately you rate and admire. Your rubber grip tight, no pliers. I gotta take you out, call quits or retire. The fourth room down, fifth lift them up. Bells don't leave shells, so I'm switching up. Be something like a bus driver still picking up. Got your hands in your pocket, nigga, stick them out. All the projects, money's no objects. So we finger fuck max and we contact. Slide in, slide out, got when we ride out, down, go. I got round that you don't count. You're standing up till I tell them sit down. Stomach on the ground, hands behind your back and your neck over. When I'm digging in your pants, give me that in your trip. All for the rest. He said, tap the weed, leave the cash. What? I'ma do him dirty, mad max. Do it, niggas get back. Bitches get smacked and get smacked face down when I'm breaking her back. Yo, we got metal like a rap, made a name in rap. I ain't setting it for track. Yo, I'ma need me a bag of that C-O-L-T. Carved in my rack, still unstolen. Stereo scratch up on my actions. Stop the madness, I'm reeling up, get it gone. Mad shit, they can't don't sleep like I don't got a night show. Send your aim class, didn't see drum. Now run up on them close. I ain't going wrong, but I'm clear blood strong till it drops on my palm. And it's highly dangerous and low to me arms contagious. Sicker than stars, I ain't saying this, but I'm a hot star. I'll snap, crack, pop like camera. I'll snap, run up, just hide when I let off. One man in the mask, man in the act, man with the strap to your night vision black. With the phone dog and hot snap, on the G's for YG. Scroll clap, we clap, do you come and try me? 70s and 90s, been moving grimy. Third rush, till they talk,
to the ivy. It's 4 or 5 on stretcher, and they think it's drunk. Until they end up on a stretcher, better get a coffin. Yo, Christians, so we ain't in a no long talking. Money overflow, back on my bullshit. These punks that I grew with, acting like you're too sick, too soon. Cash making me ever since size. Or battle to the J, someone get my guns fried. My mind's fried. See, I don't give a fuck. Skank it with a YG, guarantee he hit them up. Take a nigga slut, man, you know me. Never look back since my first OG. Screaming outside, all the police. Fucked up when I nipped 1.5 B. Snakes and cop chops, now you owe me 10 G's. Till I go to sleep, till you for the ABK. The marksman, shoot for fun. What the fuck's a murder one? Bad news if you run into the DBS. All I do is give one nod, then you breeze the tech. Then you breeze the tech. All I do is give one nod, then you breeze the tech.
TBD on the situation on how it plays out. A quick little shout out here to Marta Boss, our listener and friend from Brazil. She is currently listening to the show live, which is great. So we say bom dia, Marta, and obrigado for joining us. With that in mind, let's get to it. Another edition of Learning Portuguese.
Hola, shift heads. It's time to learn Portuguese with Leonardo.
Calho.
Lovely shift heads. I'm doing just fine. My dad got his first shot of the vaccine today, so we're happy. Yay!
What's the shot that he got? Do we know?
You mean the company? He got the
I don't care about none of that. I thought you were going to teach us.
Oh, I see. Good. Yeah, all right.
Chef Hassan is the man the sergeant is looking for. The one he'll accuse of murder. He said to think it over.
The sergeant returned with supplies and cooking utensils, and Mrs. St. Clair prepared a meal. It was eaten in silence. So we...
Wow, that makes for an excellent radio show. Right. Music. Let's see. What's this?
So, what is missing?
The detonator.
Exactly. That's a American grenade. That's a 5-second fuse. Put it down.
I've seen you taking apart the grenade.
Yeah. That was a situation of, if I mess up, I'm either gonna die or half die. Well, as long as I keep it toward my face, at least if I do something wrong, it'll all just be over.
And how did you feel when he was asking you to do that?
Stressed. Very, a lot of pressure.
So how did it come about? Did he come to you and say, I want you to make this video? Or...
No, he didn't say, I want you to. He's like, you're gonna do this. Yeah, he was like, you're gonna do this, and you'll get to go on with your day. That's how he would do it. And he said if you didn't, then I either wouldn't feed you or I would, like, do something random. I don't know.
You don't want to just
if you said no to me, so I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
It's made up. Whatever the fuck you said.
I did indeed. And I can make it to Dawson without any trouble at all, even carrying the boy in my arms.
Oh, sexta-feira.
None of us say it's one up like an
El Prazo.
El Prazo.
Yep.
Sexta-feira, El Prazo.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There you go. Yeah, no, Friday is the deadline. If you haven't returned your taxes just yet, we heard from Jerry Viteratos from ufile.ca, our national tax specialist. A couple of things to keep in mind, of course. There's the CERB, CERB, CRB, also EI, and COVID-19 work from home benefits. So if you don't know, and if you haven't filed your taxes just yet, it's a great way to just remind yourself. Take a listen to the podcast. We'll have that conversation up again if you didn't hear it earlier on the show. Leo, moving along here, we talked a little bit about the Battle of Kapyong. It's the 70th anniversary that we saw this week, and boy, what an important milestone for the Korean War, for Canadian soldiers, for South Koreans everywhere in the world. And again, how do we just say something very simple and yet so powerful? Thank you to our soldiers. Thank you to our soldiers.
Obrigado Aos nossos soldados.
Obrigado.
Aos nossos soldados.
Aos nossos soldados.
Yeah.
Obrigado.
You're really good.
No, oh, shoot, I forgot. No, obrigado.
You're somewhere between French and Spanish.
Aos nossos soldados. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And lest we forget, of course, my thanks to speaking with retired Major Murray Edwards, detailing his experience in Korea 70 years ago. And so many Canadians answered the call. Over 20,000 went to Korea, a land that they had never heard of before, but they went and did their duty. 516 Canadians never came home. Indeed, they made the ultimate sacrifice, but a thriving democracy today, Koreans everywhere, like I said, eternally grateful for the sacrifice and courage shown by Canadian soldiers during the Korean War. And boy, it's so important to remember. They call it the Forgotten War, Leo. It's a terrible nickname, but hopefully nobody ever truly forgets the importance of that war and the sacrifices made by our Canadian soldiers.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice made, and it's important that we study and always remember the chapters of the Korean War. Yeah.
All right, and Leo, earlier this week we had also heard the federal government, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, saying they are going to ban direct flights from India and Pakistan for the next 30 days. They are trying to help out the Canadian COVID-19 efforts. We know the situation in India with hybrid mutant strains, very, very complicated. They're very dangerous. So how do we say in Portuguese, turn this plane around? You know, a nice, fun little way to sort of commemorate this whole story here.
Oh, baby. Baby, darling. Or even make a sound. I had to slow my heartbeat down because of how I was sitting.
Korea, after extra time in the second leg of Asian qualification playoffs on April 3rd.
说得不好。
说得不好. So speak, 说. So what I say is not good. 不好.
Yeah.
Et puis aussi ce qu'on fait sur l'ISS, c'est apprendre à vivre dans l'espace en fait. L'ISS elle est près de la Terre, donc on apprend, on répète un peu nos gammes parce qu'on veut aller plus loin, mais on ne sait pas encore le faire. On veut aller sur la Lune, on veut aller sur Mars, on ne sait pas encore le faire. On apprend à faire tout ça dans l'ISS et un jour on sera prêt.
Est-ce que tu es stressé d'être là dans l'espace une deuxième fois? Du coup, j'ai lu dans Sciences et Vie Junior que vous retourniez en mission. Est-ce que
comes the new national flag.
Et on voit maintenant le drapeau kenyan qui flotte.
The black for the people of Kenya,
le
the
noir,
red for the struggle for freedom, the green
le
for
rouge,
agriculture and its
le
natural
vert,
resources, and white for
et le
peace and unity. Listen to the cheers.
Tous ensemble. Comment? Vous dormez ou quoi? Ensemble, tous ensemble. Dirigeons ensemble notre pays.
Aujourd'hui est un des plus beaux jours de ma vie. Ce n'est que par nos actions qu'ils comprendront que nous sommes sérieux. Mes frères, je pense que j'ai assez parlé dans cette langue. Je n'ai aucun souhait de continuer à m'adresser à vous dans cette langue qui est non seulement étrangère, mais colonialiste.
Le guide vers les ténèbres et la mort, comme l'appelaient les Anglais du temps de la révolte Mao Mao, est désormais à la tête du Kenya. Il a prêté serment sur la Bible de la Reine en tant que Premier ministre. Et en décembre de la même année, un service d'action de grâce à l'abbaye de Westminster a consacré chrétiennement l'indépendance d'un Kenya livré au pouvoir de l'antéchrist de l'époque Mao Mao. Le nouveau président refuse de vivre dans le palais Duncan Dwega, ancien patron du Kenyan Civil Service.
He will not sleep at State House.
because he said there are ghosts of white people.
Il ne voulait pas dormir à la résidence présidentielle parce qu'il disait qu'elle était hantée par des fantômes d'hommes blancs.
He said that he couldn't sleep because there were ghosts of white people.
Il prétendait ne pas pouvoir y dormir parce qu'il y avait des fantômes d'hommes blancs et que le croassement des grenouilles le dérangeait.
He lived in Gatundu. He never left the state house during his whole time.
Il vivait à Gatundu. Pendant toute la durée de son mandat, il n'a jamais vécu à la résidence présidentielle. Il partageait ainsi son temps. La journée, il venait travailler à la résidence présidentielle et le soir et les week-ends, il rentrait retrouver sa famille. Il avait grandement souffert d'être séparé longtemps de sa famille lorsqu'il combattait pour l'indépendance et la libération de son pays.
Reality from where we started. I dreamed of this and now it's happened. I find myself at points as I was sat there talking to the kids and Rick and Lisa really struggling because, you know, I couldn't help think about the choices that their father had made and some of the choices that Sam had made. It's great that they're home, but
this is BBC World
this
Service.
is in some ways just the beginning.
What? You hear the nice white woman's voice is going to come in and tell us, right?
Matthew and Juan have invited me on a fishing trip.
Cheers, that sounds like a jet.
And start packing.
Don't fuck up the wrong tree. The perfect selection and quality is Monaghan Love.
Your desire to renovate is strong. Time to visit
And Angus told me 3 months ago that he was mine to give to any boy who wanted a pet. Without opening his eyes, Davy
There's been a whole bunch of femicides being direct exposures here.
I ever had.
You hear that, Sergeant? Yes, Mike. Last night when Nick and the doctor and I came here to the stable and found the boy, I was reminded of the old story. And when Mrs. St. Clair asked us who we were,
On a fishing trip with the same
No, it just
boy.
snowed. It's the end of April and it
And
just
right now,
snowed for like 2 days.
Matthew is happy, healthy, and safe.
Like, if we were in Rocco, we wouldn't be able to do this right here. Like, talking, just chilling out. We wouldn't be able to do that. They always said, one day we'll be back home, one day we'll be back home, but it never happened. So I was like, yeah, I'm just never coming home.
What's the best thing about being home?
Everything. Just everything. Like, there's no best part.
What would you like people to understand about what you lived through?
That you can pull through. That's really it. Like, no matter how bad the situation is, we'll always get through it. It all happened, and it's done. It's all behind me now.
You can download the full series of I'm Not a Monster, including extended episodes, right now on the free BBC Sounds app, or wherever you get your podcasts. It was written by me, Josh Baker, and Joe Kent. We produced it together with Max Green. Lucy Sullivan is the production assistant. Sam Slater, the composer. It was mixed by Tom Brignall, and the editor is Emma Rippon.
The composer and a mix.
It's time to hear what you think of the BBC World Service in Over to You. This week, over the past 2 weeks, there have been a number of programming changes following the news of the death of His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. We hear listeners' comments on whether the BBC World Service got the balance right, and the senior commissioning editor answers accusations that coverage was excessive. I'm Rajan Datta, and this is Over to You. The announcement from the palace of the Duke's death was first made at 1100 hours GMT on Friday, the 9th of April. The news broke on the World Service during an edition of the Fifth Floor. But as Over to You listeners have pointed out, this significant moment was disrupted by what appeared to be a series of technical difficulties.
Yeah, you haven't broadcast directly on the internet ever since.
This is the BBC World Service. We are interrupting our programs to bring you the latest news from the BBC. I am now joined from our newsroom.
Instead of a correspondent on the line, there was just silence. And after just under 10 seconds, the Fifth Floor unexpectedly returned to where it left off.
I was speaking earlier to BBC Mundo contributor Paula Molina talking to me from...
The program then ran as normal for another 3 or so minutes.
As I was telling you earlier, we are interrupting our programs to bring you the latest BBC news. We are going to be joined now.
But again, there was only silence, 20 seconds of it, before we heard this.
I've got WS Royal's Prince Philip programme, Obit Running Order. You're listening to a programme on the BBC.
Now, this was all noticed by, amongst many others, listener Terence Bramble in Italy, who joins me on the phone now. Hello, Terence.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you. So tell me, what did you think of that?
Well, I was holding my breath. Like, what's going on?
We're over here listening to Life with Luigi.
And then the actual announcement of the death of the Duke of Edinburgh was called midstream, I think, in a programme which sort of somewhat shocked me. And rather than sort of being broken in as you go along and saying, we're sorry to announce the death of His Royal Highness the Prince, the Duke of Edinburgh, or something like that, I don't know. And I thought this is just so unlike the World Service, so unlike the BBC, who we do know is an exemplary broadcaster, and it's just rather off-putting and disturbing, really, to have that, from my perspective, anyway.
Terence Bramble in Italy, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Not at all, Roger. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we asked the BBC's operational team what happened, and in a statement, they told us,
with live radio, there can sometimes be operational issues, and unfortunately, that was the case here. However, it was quickly rectified, and the coverage on the World Service of the death of the Duke of Edinburgh was of strong quality and breadth.
Decade after decade, no one was closer to the British monarchy, no one mattered more to the British monarch than Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh.
The Duke had returned to Windsor Castle on March the 16th after spending a month in hospital, his longest ever stay.
I think the first thing to say is that this is the end of a quite extraordinary life, an extraordinary long life, and extraordinary in the way it was lived.
Hello, over to you. This is JM in the Philippines. I think the coverage of Prince Philip's death last April 9th may be a bit excessive, especially for someone who is not living in a Commonwealth country. Since BBC World News and World Service are carrying the UK public broadcaster's name, I understand why the important news story should warrant the coverage. But I think the wall-to-wall coverage for over 24 hours may be too much, especially that the rising cases of COVID-19 variants still dominate headlines around the world. I do hope that the BBC will take the criticisms from people well, not from talking heads in newspapers or so.
It's his voice.
Hello, over to you. This is James Dowling Healy in Connecticut in the United States of America. You did an excellent job of summarizing a long life and a significant life. Given the substantial time, care, and effort that went into crafting the special tributes about his life, I think it would make sense to make those available to the public online.
And on social media, we've had these comments.
Daniel Nelson, London. I listen to the World Service throughout the day and rely on it completely for international coverage and an international perspective. I was surprised and disappointed to find the World Service bulletins were totally dominated by the Duke of Edinburgh's hardly unexpected death. The excessive coverage was a ridiculous overreaction. Never were the words, now for some other news, so gratefully received.
Ashish Basu, Canada. I've been glued to coverage by the BBC World Service all day, and I'm in awe of Prince Philip, from his naval service to conservation initiatives and his deep love for the Queen.
Florida, New Mexico, US.
just wanted to respectfully say that I listened to 2 different news hours, and it's mind-boggling that they were entirely consumed with the natural death of a 99-year-old. Where was the rest of the news, please?
You're Accra, Ghana. The Life and Times of Prince Philip on the BBC World Service. If you didn't know much about him, this is a proper guide to knowing the man. Moving.
Across all BBC TV and radio, including the World Service, the corporation has received over 110,000 complaints about its coverage, the most in the BBC's history. Well, joining me on the line now is Senior Commissioning Editor for the World Service, Steve Titherington. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Roger.
Now, it goes without saying that the death of a major royal figure like Prince Philip will have to be marked in a significant way on the World Service. Now, just picking up on some of the comments, I mean, do you understand why some did feel that the coverage was excessive?
Well, first of all, grateful for the feedback, and as one of your listeners said, yeah, we take the criticisms well, and we obviously kind of felt this was a very significant event nationally and internationally. We acknowledge that some listeners, as we've heard, were unhappy with the amount we did, though interestingly, they seem to be very pleased with what we did. And for us, this was a very important global story. It's also very important to sort of give the context,
well, they know how the British are. If they complain and they don't compliment
and also
you,
understand the resonance with stories like this.
And you're still talking about the guy. Let's to the last second. I wanted angry callers.
I know, sis, but last night was the first time in a month, and anyway, it was different. I had a few drinks, but it was different.
Oh,
something happened.
What do you mean something happened?
Well, it wasn't just the drinks. They were doped or something.
Oh, Tom.
No, look, sis, it's not just an alibi. I don't remember where I was or anything, only that just now I seem to be dreaming about it.
About what?
About last night. I could hear you banging on the door all the time I was dreaming. And then it seemed as though I wasn't dreaming at all, that I was remembering a lot of things.
What sort of things?
Well, it was all mixed up. There was a guy with a kind of a frog voice that kept giving me drinks. And I was sort of floating. And then there was a place that music came out of the walls. There was something about blood on my shirt. The key to a closet.
Tommy, you're shaking like a leaf.
Yeah. It was a pretty scary dream. If it was a dream.
What you need is some good hot coffee. Now hurry up and get dressed and come on downstairs. Here, I'll get you out a clean shirt.
Yeah, I'd better wear the old one. I've only worn it once.
But it's all messy.
Yeah, it does look kind of... Mildred.
What?
My shirt, give it to me.
Now what's the matter?
Look, Mildred, that's blood.
Well, I guess it is.
I know it is, just like it was in the dream.
Oh, Tommy, don't be so silly. You must have hurt yourself somewhere.
Well, I didn't. Look, there isn't a scratch on me.
Well, then you got in a fight.
Maybe.
What else could it have been?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think.
Well, stop thinking and hurry up and get dressed. My goodness, look at the way you threw your clothes around last night. Trousers on the floor. Here. Oh, dear, everything's falling out of the pockets. I'll pick it up. You get dressed.
Thanks.
You didn't come home with much, did you?
Well, I couldn't have much to start with.
Well, I'll put it all up here in the bureau. 25 cents in change and your keys. Now hurry.
What'd you say?
I said hurry.
No. Before that, what'd you say?
I said I put your change and your keys up in the bureau.
Keys?
Yes.
Mildred, I only have one key.
Well, there are 2 there now.
I know. Let me see it.
Here. One's the key to the front door.
Yeah, but the other one?
Doesn't belong to any door in this house.
It's the key to the closet.
What closet?
Last night it wasn't a dream.
Tommy, what are you talking about?
Mildred, you better call Denny right away.
But he's on duty.
I know, but get him over here right away.
Tommy, what is it?
Last night, I think I killed a man.
Let me look at your eyes.
Listen, Denny,
You were doped, all right.
Well, I didn't know what it was.
Never mind that now. How much do you remember?
Look, Denny, I hated to bring you in on this, and I didn't know who else to go to.
Skip it. What's the use of having a brother-in-law who's a cop if he can't help you once in a while?
How much do you remember? Just what I've told you. Just like it wasn't a dream, only it wasn't a dream. You see, there was this guy, Joe, just some guy I'd known from someplace, I don't know where. See, I met him on the street and he took me to the party. And then the guy with the frog voice began giving me drinks. And then everything got confused. And I was in another place with the singing walls. With some harmonica playing or something. I don't even know whether it was in the same apartment even, but that's where the closet was.
What about the guy the dead guy?
Well, at first he wasn't there, and then he was. He was sort of slumped over in a big armchair.
Then Frog Voice put him in the closet.
That's what I remember. And then he left. And then I suddenly seemed to realize that the guy in the closet was dead, and that's why I got out of there. I don't know how.
You don't have any idea where it was?
No, I don't even know where the party was.
You've never seen any of these people before?
Except this guy, Joe, who took me to the party. And that's all I know about him, Denny. Just a guy named Joe that I knew from by sight from someplace. I don't know where or his last name or anything.
Not much to go on, is there, kid?
No, not much.
A guy named Joe, singing walls, in a closet. Another guy with a froggy voice.
Well, I'd recognize him or his voice if I ever saw him again.
Tommy, you're in a jam. The way it looks right now, there's a dead man in a closet somewhere in this town. You killed him.
Oh, but Denny,
Well, maybe you didn't. If we find him before somebody else does, maybe we can figure out what did happen. The way it stands now, you're it.
I know.
You haven't got much time, either. The place is an apartment. They probably would have found the body already, and I'd know about it. It's a hotel. They check the guests out by 6 o'clock. That gives us about 4 hours.
4 hours. For the murderer to find the guy he murdered. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Tommy, you know how I feel about Mildred. You know I don't exactly hate you either. You know I'll do everything in the world I possibly can to clear you.
Sure, Denny, I know.
I'm a cop, Tommy. If you did it, you know I'm going to turn you in, don't you?
Sure. I know that, too.
Okay, kid. Now, let's start from the beginning. What about this Joe?
I don't know anything about him.
You know his name, you know his face. Think, Tommy, think.
I'm trying to. If I could only remember. If I could only remember.
So a guy named Joe brought you, huh? You come up here from Joe's place? What's that? Oh, you don't even know where Joe lives, huh? Me? No, I don't know either. I never seen Joe before in my life.
You still don't get it, Tommy?
No, I don't.
You told me where Joe is.
I have?
Sure, you see the sign over that saloon?
Yeah, Joe's place. But how do you know that?
Tommy, you were playing with bad boys last night. And this is where bad boys hang out, among other places. He's got a name. It's run by a guy named Joe. He minds his own business, as far as we know, but his customers don't.
So?
It all clicked when I remembered you said the guy with the frog voice asked you if you came up there from Joe's place. He didn't mean where Joe lived or anything. He meant this place. He thought maybe you were one of the boys.
Yeah, but how did I ever meet this Joe? I've never been here in my life.
He runs another joint, a respectable saloon, a sort of cover, about 3 blocks from our house, the Town Tavern.
Hey, that's right.
Remember? Now, Joe may or may not be in on this. Frog voice made a big play to you that he didn't know Joe. He'd never seen him before in his life. His customers always cover him. It's better for them that way. If my hunch is right, Joe is going to be plenty surprised when he sees you walk in there.
Me? Walk in there?
Ah, don't worry. Just walk in and sit down at the bar. If you're not out in a couple of minutes, I'll know you recognize the guy and we're on the right track. I'll come in as though I didn't see him, go into the phone booth.
And then what?
Then we'll see. Okay, kid?
Okay.
Oh, one thing.
Huh?
If he offers you a drink on the house, take it.
Sure. Well, here goes.
What'll it be, Mac? Here. Well, we got you.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Suit yourself.
Well, what do you know? Tommy.
Hiya, Joe.
Hey, what are you doing down in this part of town, kid?
Oh, I had to come down to see a guy. I didn't know you had this place.
Oh, just a little sideline? It's where I first started, you know.
Sure, I know.
One beer, that'll be 10 cents. Hey, no, none of that. You gotta have one on me, kid. A real drink. What do you have?
Well,
Scotch?
Okay.
Scotch for the gentleman, Larry. The very best. You understand?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll take rye. Hey, Tommy. That was some party last night, huh?
What?
Yeah. Hey, where'd you disappear to? I was looking all over for you.
You know, that's a funny thing. I don't even remember.
I get it. Well, a guy has to cut loose once in a while, huh?
Yeah. One Scotch, the very best. And one rye.
Well, here's to you.
Wait a minute.
Hey, who are you?
This is my brother-in-law. Denny, this is Joe.
Oh.
Say, you must have got those drinks mixed up. You never drink Scotch, Tommy. You only drink rye.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you take the rye and give Joe the Scotch, and I'll take your beer.
I don't like Scotch. I never touch it.
Okay, I'll take it. Thanks. By the way, Joe, you haven't got a little bottle I could pour this into, have you?
Say, who do you think you're kidding, bud?
I'm from headquarters. There's my badge.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I didn't know that you...
I suppose you don't know what I'd find in this drink if I took it down to be analyzed either.
Hey, now, look, I don't want any trouble. I never had any. They can tell you down at headquarters. Of course, it's a matter of dough.
You can't buy your way out of this one, chum. I want talk, and I want it quick.
What kind of talk?
Where'd you take Tommy last night?
It was just a little party, a private party.
Yeah, and they slip things in people's drinks there, too.
No, I don't know anything about that. Now, honest, I hardly know the people.
Who's the guy with the frog voice?
Voice? I don't know any guy with a frog voice. Now, look, I told you I don't want any trouble. They can tell you that down at headquarters.
Listen, there's a narcotics rap in this for somebody, and it could be you. Where was the party?
Courtney Square West, number 75. Some people named Sorrell.
Come on, Tommy. You're coming too, Joe, just in case. Sorrell, H.J. This look like the place, Tommy?
Looks like it. Could be. Everything has been so confused since last night. Well, this is it.
It better be. Mrs. Sorrell?
Yes?
I'm from police headquarters.
Oh?
Mind if we come in and look around?
Why, no.
Come on, Tommy. You too, Joe. By the way, you two know each other?
Space familiar. I think he's been here on a couple of parties. We kind of get crazy parties. All kinds of people wander in and out. Is that what the trouble is?
It might be. Know anyone with a froggy voice?
No, not that I can remember.
Okay, let's look at the apartment.
Well, this is the hall, of course. And here's the living room.
Joe, you stay here in the hall. And you better be here when I get back.
I'll be here.
So this is the living room.
Uh-huh. This is the bedroom. It's kind of messy now.
See anything? No.
Over here's the kitchenette.
I see.
That's about all there is to it.
What's that room there?
Oh, that's just the sort of storeroom.
Well, I think we better look at it, though. Come on.
Well, all right. There, see? Nothing much in it. An old armchair and a bed. Use it as a guest room sometimes.
Denny, that closet.
Oh, there's nothing in there. It's a lot of old odds and ends.
Open it.
Well, it's locked.
All right, unlock it.
I'm not sure where the key is.
And, lady, you better find it.
No, that's right. Be right back.
Is this it, Tommy? Well, there was a closet like that. And a window just over there where that one is. And the armchair and the bed. Don't you remember? I can't, Denny. Let me have that key. Wait a minute, here she comes.
I think this is it.
Try it.
Sort of sticks sometimes.
I'll help you.
Come. See? Just a lot of old junk.
Uh-huh. Come on, Denny. You sure? Sure, I'm sure. Well, I guess that's all, Mr. Sorrell. Thanks for showing us around.
That's all right.
Hello, Joe. Still here, huh?
You don't mind if I stay here and visit a while, do you?
No, I guess not.
Well, goodbye.
Bye. Thanks again.
Well, goodbye and good luck, Albert.
I'm sorry, Denny. Yeah, that was a try. Well, what do we do now? I don't know, Tommy. I don't know. Think, Tommy. Think. You found Joe? Now, what about those singing walls?
That's right, it comes right out of the walls. We got hot and cold running water here, and singing walls.
Denny. Yeah? Listen. What? That's it. The singing walls. The music I heard last night. You sure? Sure. I remember the piece, the harmonica, and everything. It's coming from right around here someplace. Denny, it's coming from their apartment, the one we just left, Sorrell's. Well, come on. This This must be the place, Tommy. The closet, now the music. They must have been pulling a fast one on us.
Well?
All right, quit stalling. Come on, Tommy.
Stalling?
You heard me. You two brushed us off pretty slick, didn't you?
Hey, now listen, I told you I don't know anything about this, but if you...
Where's the music coming from?
Well, from the radio.
The radio?
Yes, I turned it on in the kitchen just now when I started to fix dinner. It's a little portable. Here, see?
Okay.
I don't get it. What do you mean by
Skip it. Well, Tommy, here we go again.
I don't care. That was the music I heard. And that's the same number, and it sounds like the same band.
Hey, wait a minute.
Now what?
Where's your phone?
On the desk.
Tommy, see what station that's coming over.
All right. WBTA. It's a local station.
Thanks. Hello? Operator? Get me station WBTA. A radio station. I don't know what the number is. Just get it. This is a police call. Thanks. May be wrong, Tommy, but I got a hunch. Hello? WBTA? What's that band you've got on now? I don't care if it's an electrical transcription or a Mickey Mouse cartoon. What's the guy's name? What? Turn off that radio. Now, what was that guy's name? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, where can we get a hold of this guy? Where does he hang out? I see. 5 nights a week, huh? That include the night? Thanks. It's a small-time band leader, Tom. Harmonica Howlin' is Harmoniers, he calls himself, and he plays at a place called the Silver Slipper out in the concourse. Come on.
Coming.
You better get on that phone, Joe.
You dumb, you would have to turn on that radio.
There's the Silver Slipper right over there. Okay, let us out here.
Right.
There you are.
Thank you, sir.
Look familiar to you around here, Tommy?
No. Oh, I'm afraid it's a bum steer, Denny.
Look, kid, here's the way I figure this music deal. You may have heard a recording of this band the way you did a little while ago, but there's a good chance you actually heard the guy himself. You know what time it was when you heard it?
Well, it was just night. That's all I know.
All right. They don't make recordings often of unknown bands, and this Silver Slipper isn't on the air. So maybe you were out here someplace and heard the band itself.
Maybe.
You know, it's kind of a long shot, kid, but right now it's the best we got. Let's case the joint.
Okay.
Don't look like there are any rooms with closets in the Silver Slipper.
Say, what about that crummy-looking hotel next to it?
Yeah, I was just thinking. If you're in a room in a closet and all that, and you really did hear this band, that hotel's the only place you could have been.
Oh, I wish I could remember something.
In the shape you were in, you probably signed your own name, too. Come on. By the way, what time you got?
10 to 6.
10 to 6. Deadline's pretty close, kid.
Yeah.
This better be right. What a dump.
I could only remember.
Well, there's the clerk. We'll see. Say, you got a guy named Tom Cochran here?
Yeah, Cochran. No.
It's all right. We're friends of his.
Let's see. When did you register?
Last night?
Sure, here it is. Tom Cochran and Ben Doyle, room 209. I don't think they're in, though.
No?
No. I've been ringing to see if they were going to check out by 6. I was just going to send somebody up.
Well, they were at a big party last night. Probably haven't pulled themselves together yet. As a matter of fact, that's why we came to see them.
Should I ring again?
No, we're sort of surprised.
Okay, right up those stairs. But they got to be up by 6, so pay for another night.
We'll take care of that. Let's go, Tom.
Denny, did you see that handwriting on the register?
Yeah.
That was mine, all right.
This is it, Tommy. One way or another.
Yeah.
Here's 209. Don't put your hand on that doorknob. Oh, fingerprints. Use your handkerchief. It's locked. I got some keys. It's an easy lock. Here we go, kid.
Denny, this is it.
Close that door.
Yeah. There's the closet.
Give me the key. Here, you better hold my gun on that door just in case.
All right. Denny, look out.
He was just falling. He's dead.
Oh. Gee, this is awful.
You remember now?
Yeah. I can't put it together.
Let's have a look.
Oh.
Stabbed. Here's his driver's license. Benjamin Doyle. Give me it. Hello? Oh, yeah, we found him all right. Oh, they're going to keep the room for another night. No. There's not a thing we want. We're in for it now, kid. Daddy, look on the floor over there. Last night, covered with blood. That's what did it, all right? Yeah. Hey. Yeah, I know. It's fine. Tommy, why didn't you tell me? Honest, Denny, I didn't even know I'd lost it until I just saw it there now. Fingerprints all over. It's clear as though they've been made in sealing wax. Right-handed, aren't you, Tommy? Yeah, right-handed. Let me see your right hand. Doesn't take an expert to read these. Those prints are yours, all right, kid. Yeah, I guess they are. And you still don't remember? Honest, Denny, I don't. Can you think of any other explanation? No, there's the guy with the frog voice, but I must have just dreamed them up. I don't know. Well, kid, I guess this is it. You did all you could, Denny. Don't feel bad. You can plead insanity or something. Maybe we can prove you were a goat, maybe. You better call headquarters, Denny. Let's get it over. All right. So where are you going? I don't want a phone from here. The clerk will listen in. No use getting all the rules on us before we have to. Aren't you afraid that I'll... No. Well, I won't. I'll just have him send a detective car. You won't have to go in the wagon. Thanks. Better let me have my gun. Sure. I'll be back. Lie down for a couple of minutes. You look kind of sick. I am.
That's the idea. Take a little snooze. I won't be gone long. Get a little sleep. Do you good. I'll be right back. Have a little trouble in here? Blood. Sure, blood. All over your shirt. Oh, he's all right. Put him in the closet. Lock that door. Key right in your pocket. I'm not going anyplace. Back in just a minute. Sure, I'll be right back. Be right. Here he is. You? Yeah, me. Hey, what are you going to do with him, Froggy? Get him in the other room until his copper friend misses him and starts looking. Now listen, I don't want to be in anything like this. Shut up. You're in it up to your neck. Come on, you. Get up. Okay. Get going. Up the hall here. Open the other door, Joe. Sure. Get in there. That's the guy, Frog? Yeah. Listen, Froggy, this don't look so good. There was people who knew you were getting ready to give it to Doyle and... Sure. That's why I framed this guy. All the trouble I went to. Doped him and brought Doyle in there when he was out. Planted the key on him, bloodied him up, put the knife in his hand. I still don't see how he ever came to in time. Yeah, but he did. So what? We frame him again. Music? You like music, don't you? You're pretty sweet about music, ain't you? Well, for your information, that's harmonica hell rehearsing for the night. And in this room, it comes through the window. On account of there is a window. But in the other room, it comes through the walls. On account of there ain't no window. Catch on? Better close the window, Joe. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I do like music. You mind if a guy in a spot like I am hears a little music? What about it, Froggy? Sure. Leave it up and let's have music while we work. It'll cover up the noise if he makes any fuss. So what's the new angle? Knock him out. Dump him in the pond. Dead by his own hand. Remorse. We leave the gun beside him and plant some of Doyle's stuff on him. Yeah, I got it. All right, get going. Tie him up. Right? Yeah. Put a handkerchief in his mouth. Yeah. Put a cord around him. He's drunk, see? And we're taking care of him. Okay. Where's the car? Round the back. Nobody will see us going out that way. All right. You ready? Just a minute. All right, take a look. Yeah. Okay. All right. Take a look at that door. Okay. All clear? Yeah. Let's go. Lock the door after we go on. Okay. Down the hall to the back stairs. Hey, what the... All right, drop those guns. Cover him, you guys. I got him. What is this? You'll find out, Graziano. You get that gag out of the guy's mouth and untie him, Mike. Sure. Jenny. I heard the music. I hoped you would. I asked him to leave the window open. I heard the conversation, too. Enough. Okay, boys, take him down. All right, come on. Say,
Who are those guys? Graziani's a mobster. Doyle was one of his boys who double-crossed him. I feel okay, I guess. That was kind of close. Yeah, all the way around. Yeah. Look, kid, skip it, Denny. I'm sorry, Tommy. Honest. I thought you did it. Denny, until just now, so did I.
And so closes The Singing Walls, starring Preston Foster with Dane Clark. Tonight's tale of suspense. This is your narrator, the man in black, who conveys to you Columbia's invitation to spend this half hour in suspense with us again next week at this same time, when Miss Lillian Gish and Mr. Otto Kruger will star in the suspense play, Marry for Murder. The producer of these broadcasts is William Spear, who, with Ted Bliss, the director, Bernard Herrmann and Lucien Marowik, conductor and composer, and Robert L. Richards, the radio author, collaborated on tonight's Suspense. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You're listening to Chin Radio AM 1540, the voice of multicultural Toronto, bringing you the latest updates on COVID-19. Stay informed, stay safe, and stay tuned to Chin Radio AM 1540.
Now, as gunshots echo across the wind-swept, snow-covered reaches of the wild Northwest, Quaker puff wheat.
Because in the UK, our carbon emissions peaked actually in 1973. In the EU, it was 1979. In the US, is 2007. So there are lots of forces at work, one of which is reducing air pollution, another is deindustrialization, and then we have climate change. I think generally in climate policy, actually, it's been generally very socially...
X amount, I need to have receipts to prove it. And it's very likely that there's going to be more audits of these claims this year than there were in prior years, because so many Canadians now are entitled to that specific deduction, whereas before we weren't. So that's the key, is that you need to keep your receipts and you need to have that form duly signed by your employer. It is a requirement. Now, if you're electronically filing your return, you don't need to file it with your return, but you have to keep it, you have to hold on to it, and you have to make sure that everything that you can corroborate all that information.
Yeah, just in case you get the notice that you are being audited, it's always good to have those receipts. That's just an important life lesson in general. Always keep your receipts. That way, if anything ever goes wrong, you've got the evidence right there. Jerry, here's an interesting note. You know, you mentioned submitting electronically. A lot of Canadians, it was news months ago, for whatever reason, there was a system issue. A lot of Canadians probably still finding that their CRA account online has been locked. And the process in which you have to go and get it unlocked requires calling in. What happens to one's tax return if they submit it electronically and they still find that their CRA account is inaccessible? Is there any delays in that?
There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. Those are two completely separate systems. What you're talking about is essentially the My Account portal, the CRA, where you can actually get a bird's eye view of your tax situation, right? You get your notice of assessments, you can see your slips, etc. That should not prevent anything as far as filing, because there are two different systems. Once you file the return, then the system that essentially accepts your return will update your My Account portal, but nothing should prevent it, and don't use that as an excuse. So, for example, if you don't have those CERB benefits, if you didn't receive those CERB benefits, and you file after April 30th because you're saying, well, I don't have access to the My Account portal, that does not preclude the government from charging you a penalty for the fact that you're late. Okay, so you have to absolutely file your return. You know, the My Account, like I said, two separate things. Don't let that prevent you from filing. Go ahead and file your return. There's no code. There's no special codes anymore when it comes to net filing or e-filing your return. You can simply send it directly.
Yeah, it's a very good point, and indeed, I think it's a great reminder. Don't let that stop you. The deadline is still the deadline. The government will still charge you, but you want to go and get that issue sorted out if you find that your account is still locked. I know plenty of people that I know struggling with that right now as it is, but remember the deadline. I think that's the key takeaway here. And, you know, Jerry, I wonder if this is the year you would recommend, you know, just looking into some professional service. I know UFile, their system is so simply laid out that anyone who's, you know, maybe doing taxes for the first time, young Canadians, or even those that are seasoned, go through the step-by-step process because they make it so easy. Like, is this the year you would strongly advise people that might have years and years of experience doing taxes, just be careful because there's new things and you don't want to, you don't want to make any mistakes. Certainly when you have so many benefits, new details to be keeping in mind.
I would say you always have to be vigilant no matter what. And my line always that nobody's more vigilant about your own tax return than yourself. Okay, no matter what. And you do, of course, you have professionals that are out there. If your returns are very complex, for example, you're doing rentals or businesses, UFile supports those two regardless of the version that you buy. But if you have any doubts, yes, I would absolutely recommend going to a professional. But I would say the majority of Canadians, the majority of people who are listening to us right now, your tax returns are very basic in general. For most taxpayers, that kind of tax return is very basic. Most have employment income, maybe some deductions. You might have some, some RSP deductions. Maybe you've got some medical receipts. Maybe you've got some donations. And for the most part, that basically encapsulates most Canadians that are producing returns. That can easily be done with something like UFile. Now, the good news as well is that now for those who still have their My Account functioning, okay, I have to preface that. Within UFile, you do have an option called Autofill My Return. Okay, and that's a federal program where as long as you have your My Account portal working and you can log into it, you can download your tax slips directly into the software, and you can actually import them into the entries. So you don't even need to, so 90% of your entries are basically done by the combination of the software with the Autofill My Return program of the CRA. So that's why I would say, for the most part, it is very simply done. What I recommend to everybody is have a copy of your previous year's tax return when you're producing your current year tax return. That way you make sure you didn't miss anything. Use Autofill My Return. Therefore, you have no errors in entry, and you make sure you've got everything in your file. And the other thing I would recommend, even though it sounds boring, is that, for example, yesterday, we had a budget announcement. So, for example, earlier in the week, we had a budget announcement. I would recommend to everybody to look at least at the grand lines of the budget announcements, because the government announces things that affect you immediately on your tax return. But by the time you get around to it, when the tax season comes, a lot of people simply ignore it, didn't look at it, and then when you get to the following year, it's too late to do anything about the previous year. So those would be the tips I would say. But in general, most returns are simply done. And with tools like Autofill My Return, you can really do it quite easily with a consumer software.
It's a trickier year than usual, but indeed there are ways to make it easier on yourself. Jerry, appreciate you explaining some of the ways that Canadians could make sure they get the best return possible, or just making sure you avoid those key mistakes and errors. He is Jerry Viteratos, National Tax Specialist with UFile.ca. Appreciate you giving us some time and your professional insights, sir.
Max back analysis.
Thank you very much for having me again.
You missed your
You got it. That is Jerry. Always enjoy speaking with Jerry. Somehow he makes tax returns sound exciting. And that is credit to Jerry, because I know there's a lot of forms and numbers you have to keep in mind and always have to be on top of. But there you go. Jerry Viteratos, our thanks to him. And if you want to learn more, there's many ways you can do it. Seek professional helps. That sounds kind of disconcerting. Seek help. But honestly, maybe think about it this year. If you're used to doing it yourself, this might be the one year where you might want to just get a little bit of assistance simply because of COVID-19.
Program based in psychology to help people understand their motivations, change their habits, and lead healthier lives. Learn more at noom.com.
What the fuck is Ed? What is that?
From the African savannah to the ancient Silk Road, we We invite you to join us on the front lines to share stories that move the world. Get registered on cgtn.com and submit a video within 3 minutes, giving us a self-introduction to prove your presentation skills, language ability, and news sense as a reporter, presenter, podcaster, or social media influencer. All in all, what we call a media challenger. Not only will you be eligible to win up to $10,000, but you'll also get a chance to receive professional multimedia training and be enlisted into the CGTN talent pool. And who knows, there's also the possibility of having your voice heard and felt worldwide. The registration has already begun. CGTN, the Media Challengers. Come and join us and make a difference.
Looking for passion? How about fiery debate? Want to hear about current events in China from different perspectives? Then tune in to Roundtable.
Oh dear, you're on bumpers non-stop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roundtable, coming to you live from Beijing.
Roundtable. Connecting China and the world.
We bring you fun and timely discussions about what's affecting our lives everywhere.
$3 to $5. Relieve some stress at 1-800-NEW-CREDIT or apply online at lamina.ca.
This spring on Showcase.
My patriarchal ancestor, Lawrence Rutherford, founded our town.
Let's have a heart-to-heart on Roundtable. Ask us anything. We'll help you answer it. Send a voice memo to ezfmroundtable@foxmail.com. We'll play your question on Roundtable, then talk through it on the live show. Take care. We can't wait for heart-to-heart with you.
You're listening to a flashback of Roundtable, an in-depth discussion on the hottest topics in China.
The other station's going to
You're listening to Roundtable with myself, He Yang, joined by Lai Ming and Huang Shen. Coming up, when you get a new digital device, a smartphone or pad, for example, check the memory storage labeled on the box and the actual amount that shows up in your settings. Voila, you'll probably spot a difference. So why are you getting less storage than specified? And our heart-to-heart segment, we answer your voice questions. To participate, please send a voice memo or a voice question to ezfmroundtable@foxmail.com. We air your audio first and give you a reply on the live show. Also, if you're listening to our show on demand, you can find us at Roundtable China on Apple Podcast. If you like us, give us a 5-star review or tell a friend about us. It will help other folks to find the show, and also we get to know what you think about the show.
Very specific.
And now Roundtable, as we continue today's discussion. A well-known comedian and smartphone user recently made a complaint that struck a chord with most people. He bought a brand new smartphone that comes with 128 gigabytes of memory capacity. But as he turned on this brand new smartphone, surprise, surprise, only 112 gigabytes were available. We'll do the math for you. 16 gigabytes went missing, and this is new, a smartphone. Yeah. I just got a little, overwhelmed. What happened? Where did that memory go?
Now, this is a question that dates back to an age even before smartphones. I mean, I'm not sure about you guys. I mean, I've been paying attention to the storage unit of my personal computer ever since when I was in college and getting my first desktop computer.
Can I just stop you for one tiny second, please?
Yeah.
Did you just choke up a little bit and got sentimental just because that there was less gigabytes?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it was regrettable. And it still is.
Okay. Why did it make you feel that way?
Because like you, Yingpeng, I was wondering. I mean, you bought perhaps a 4 gigabyte memory hard drive, but you don't get it because the common practice in the business, in the technology business, is they don't go by the rules. Because if you were to go by the rules and you know the math, 1 gigabyte equals to what? 1,024 megabytes. And then 1 megabyte equals to 1,024 kilobytes.
Wow.
And then 1 terabyte equals to 1,024 bytes. But when these disk makers they're producing these hard drives, they don't go by that math.
They round it up.
They round it up. So they would in their math, 1 gigabyte equals to 1,000 megabytes.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 megabyte equals to 1,000 kilobytes.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result, there's a huge discrepancy to begin with. Even if even when you get a brand new hard drive. So and then the case with smartphones is they come with pre-installed operating system and pre-installed applications, which is slightly different from when you are using a desktop computer. I know many people when they buy desktop computers, they come with the operating system installed as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I have had experience of installing my own, operating system, and therefore to reformat the hard drive, I have to put in the numbers as to how many megabytes or gigabytes